Welcome back to Aurora Tech Channel. If you've watched my channel for a while, you may be wondering why I've never reviewed a resin printer before. Normally, I print functional parts, so printing with FDM printers that use filament is more convenient for me, as all you have to do is wait for the print to finish and then it's ready to use. For resin printing, after the print itself finishes, you need to wash it and then cure it with UV light, or cure it naturally by letting it sit under the sun for 24 hours. Today, I will review this Elegoo Mars 2 Pro Mono 2K resin printer, as well as the Mercury Plus washing and curing machine. Using these complete resin printing solutions, I will see if they can make the entire process easier. I would like to thank Elegoo for sending me this printer to review, and let's get started. I will start with unboxing the Mars 2 Pro printer. There are only two items inside, the toolbox and the printer itself. Everything is pre-assembled, so all you need to do is take them out and put the platform inside the machine. I will do this later after we turn on the printer to level the platform. For the washing and curing machine, it's the same two pieces, the toolbox and the machine. There's a UV light for curing and a plastic container for washing, and I will demonstrate how to use each feature later. I will now quickly set up the printer for our first print. Remove the protective films from the LCD screen, as well as the one at the bottom of the resin tray. We can now turn on the printer and also remove the protector on the display. At the main menu, select Tools, Move, and the default distance is 10 millimeters, which is fine for now, as we just want to move it up so that we have enough space to install the platform and level it. Remove the resin tray, as we want to set the zero distance between the platform and the mono LCD screen. Remove the protector on the platform and secure it on the machine with the knob. Before we start to hone the printer, we also need to loosen these two bolts so the platform can move freely. Put a paper on the mono LCD screen. Then press the home button. It will move all the way down until it triggers the Z-axis limit switch. Now we can use our hands to make sure the platform is flat. That means the pressure from the platform is evenly applied on the paper. Hold the position and tighten the front and the side bolt. Now, we need to move it up a little bit. Change the moving distance from 10 millimeters to 0.1 millimeters and move it up 0.1 at a time until you can take out the paper. To verify that, move it down 0.1 millimeters. If the paper can't be removed, move it up 0.1 millimeters and the paper should be able to move with some drag. Go back and select Z equals 0 and press Confirm. Now, we will move the platform up so we can put back the resin tray and pour some resin in. I would use the gloves that came with the printer, as resin is toxic unless it is fully cured, so it's best to try to avoid touching the resin. I will raise it up a little bit more and pour some resin to around 3/4 of the maximum capacity of this tray. Put the cover back and we are ready to start the first test print. Select Print from the main menu and go to the test print for the Mars 2 Pro folder. There is only one model inside, which is two chess pieces. Press the play button again to print these two rooks. As you can see, the platform is now dropping to the zero position we just set, which is the thickness of a piece of paper, and it's similar to the thickness at the bottom of the tray, so the first layer should be able to stick nicely on the platform. By default, the printing time or the curing time of the first few layers was set to 30 seconds, as we want to make sure they stick well during the whole print. After that, you can see the screen is flashing much faster and it's now printing at 2 seconds per layer. Since this is a small print, there's nothing to see until we get close to around 60% of the print. These two rooks stuck pretty well to the platform. I will now remove the platform from the Z-axis and use the mount that came with the printer to hang it back on at a tilted angle to let the resin remain on the platform and drip back to the tray. I will close the cover and let it drip for a few minutes. At this time, we can prepare the washing and curing machine. I will pour some 99% isopropyl alcohol into the plastic container and put it on the machine. Then, remove the platform from the printer and put it on the mount of the washing machine. In this process, I didn't touch any resin, but wearing gloves is always recommended. I will hang the platform on the washing machine and lower it to let the whole print soak in the alcohol. Put the yellow cover back on, as the machine won't start without the cover. Turn on the machine and select washing mode. The icon is 2 drops of water in a circular motion. Set the time for 3 minutes and start the cycle. Generally, depending on how big and how complex your print is, 2 to 5 minutes should be enough. Okay, the cycle is now done. I think I shouldn't let them drop back into the container or the alcohol will spill on me, so I will just let them drop in the box instead. Now, take the spinning platform from the toolbox and put it on the machine. Put the model at the center and leave some distance between them. Change the mode to curing mode, which is the light bulb icon. I will set it to 6 minutes, which may be a little bit too much, but let's try and see what happens. Okay, the cycle is now done. They are fully cured as the surface is not sticky anymore. You can take a look at the details. There are no layer lines and the text is very clear. If we take a look from the top, the super tiny text at the top is also very clear. In order to be able to do a comparison, I used the Prusa MK3S Plus to print the same model at 0.05mm layer height. As you can see, the layers on the Prusa look fine, but there's no way a FDM printer can compare with a resin printer in terms of fine details. When you look into the mini stairs inside, you really can't tell what it is for the FDM printed model. Next, I will install the slicer software to my computer to slice some models for more test prints. You can simply install the slicer inside the USB drive that came with the printer. It's a Qi 2 box slicer. Just use default settings and start the program after the installation is done. Okay, the first thing we need to do is set the parameters of this printer. According to the manual, the resolution is 1620 by 2560, which is a 2K screen. The size of X is 82.62mm, Y will be adjusted to 130.56mm automatically, and the maximum Z height is 160mm. There's nothing to set inside the Resin tab. Go to the Print tab, and we want to set the number of bottom layers to 5. The exposure time or the printing time of a normal layer is 2 seconds, 35 seconds for bottom layers. The bottom lifting speed is 90, normal lifting speed is 100, and finally retract speed is 150. Okay, we can just close the window and the settings will be automatically saved. Let's open a model and do my favorite tough print, the Eiffel Tower. With FDM printers, I have to enlarge it as much as possible to get good results. But since resin printers are good for printing tiny models with a high level of detail, I will just print it in the original size, which is 120mm. For this tower, we don't need to add supports. The settings are all correct and follow what we set earlier. We can save this file to the USB drive. Remember to select the CTB extension or the printer can't read the file. Okay. Select Print at the printer. Our tower with a small preview image is here, and let's start this print. It was finally completed in around 6 hours. I will repeat the process, wash it with 99% IPA for 5 minutes, and then cure it for another 5 minutes. Looking at the details of the tower, it was printed very nicely. Compared to the one printed by FDM, which is already enlarged by 150%, the resin printer has done a much better job on this model. My final print will be the Statue of Liberty. I will try to max out the Z height by printing this model with 160mm in height. Obviously, we do need to add some supports for this model. Click on the Support tab. The model was raised up by 5mm by default, and the slicer will also add supports to the bottom. But since this model has a solid flat bottom, I am sure that it would stick well during the whole print, so I removed the lifting and set it to 0mm. Just click Add All and the support will be generated automatically. It looks good to me, only the torch and the book need supports, and the other parts should be fine without using any support. Let's slice it and save the file. Okay, click Print, and our model is here, so let's start it. The print was completed in 8 hours. We will go through the same process to wash and cure it. However, I have a problem. When I try to mount the platform on the washer, the torch is actually touching the spinner wheel at the bottom, which would damage the model. In this case, I will remove it from the platform and put it on the basket that came with the washer. As you can see, even if I pour the alcohol to 3,000 milliliters, the torch still can't be soaked. But that's not that big of a deal. After the cycle is completed, I will manually soak and wash it. Then, put it inside the machine again for UV curing. The lower part of the model has some white residue. I think I need to filter out the resin residue in the alcohol after this print, as I also did some other prints besides these 3. Now, it looks too cloudy and some of the residue was sticking on the 3D model. Okay, the cycle is now done. I'm very happy with the quality of this print. If you don't think it's that impressive, here is what an FDM print would look like for the same model. The FDM model is actually not bad. I didn't print 2 colors on purpose as I just ran out of filament, but this makes it look more like the real statue. When you look into the details, however, the resin model is much better. Honestly, resin printing requires more post-process, but depending on what you print, if you want to print some high-detailed tiny models, resin printing is the way to go. I think it's worth it when I look at the quality of the print. Moreover, this total resin printing solution from Elegoo makes your life a bit easier. If it weren't for this, you need to get an ultrasound machine for cleaning, set up another UV light with a spinning platform for curing, and it will be even more messy. But resin printing is not good for everything. When you need to print a big part like this fan duct or function parts that I want to use right away, FDM is definitely the way to go. I hope this review can help you decide if you want to get into resin printing. If you're interested in this set of machines, I put the link under the description. That's it for this video. If you like this video, please hit the like and subscribe button. My brother and I make a new video every weekend, so check out my channel on Mondays and you'll see something new. See you next week. Today, I will review this Elegoo Mars 2 Pro Mono 2K resin printer. This Elegoo Mars 2 Pro Mono 2K resin printer. I will review this Elegoo Mars 2 Pro Mono 2K resin printer. This Elegoo Mars 2 Pro Mono 2K resin printer, as well as the Mercury Plus washing and curing machine. And what was after that? Set up another UV light with a spinning platform for curing. But depending on what you want or what you print, that's it for this video. If you like this video, please hit the like and subscribe button.